What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So a couple of days ago, I covered the Valve being at Lenovo's handheld gaming event at CES. So it was to be around January 7th or a little before or after there. And so in a couple of weeks, we'll really know what's going on with this whole SteamOS on the Legion Go S, and probably it being the first device outside the Steam Deck to get SteamOS. But there was another part of this article that I found interesting that I had mentioned in that video about how Microsoft is also going to be there and they're head of like next gen hardware or whatever. We'll go down here and take a look at that again. But the fact that he's also going to be there, Microsoft's going to be represented there at this Lenovo event as well. I just found some things to be interesting with that. And we've always talked about Game Pass and Steam and SteamOS and all that. So it kind of made me think about that. So really a speculative video, just guessing and talking about what we might learn come this event at CES, because it is something I'm really excited to see what happens here and unfolds with Lenovo and Valve and Microsoft. So I thought it was worth another video besides the last one that we did there. So anyways, let's get a little bit more into it here. So let's jump down here a little bit where we get into the Microsoft part. So Grapheus won't be the only intriguing voice of panelists on stage. Jason Ronald, Microsoft VP of Xbox Gaming Devices and Ecosystem, will also be in attendance. He's now been introduced as Microsoft's VP of Next Generation. So this is pretty interesting here, and they didn't really get into talking much more about that. In the article, they mentioned that they're not expecting them to like announce their next handheld or anything, right? And I wouldn't expect that either, but it does leave a lot of room open for some speculation about this whole event and Valve being there and Microsoft being there with their head, or their VP anyway, of next generation and gaming devices and ecosystem. There's a lot that could be happening there. So I don't know, what might this like event, or what might this announcement or whatever's coming from Microsoft be, along with Valve here and the SteamOS idea with the Legion Go S. And there's a lot of things that it could very well be. That's the thing. So that's why this is really just a stretch of what I want it to be, which would be Game Pass finally coming over to Steam and or SteamOS. Now that's kind of two different things, but me and my friends have always really wanted Steam to get Game Pass. So like my Game Pass subscription not only would be working on the app for PC, but would work on the Steam app as well and carry over. It might be an additional charge, maybe it's just included, but Microsoft's putting their games over there anyway on Steam, and they may not have all the Game Pass games there, but at least the ones that are there for now would be included, and that would be really nice. And not only that, but it would allow us to try to install those Steam versions of those games with that subscription on the Steam Deck and not have to buy them again for testing, since we can use Game Pass sub for testing a lot of games on the Windows devices, but on Steam Deck we generally have to purchase the Steam version. So that would just be really nice for gamers and content creators if we could ever get Game Pass over onto Steam. I think that would be really good. But really the other side of that too is SteamOS. So also having support maybe for the actual native app eventually on SteamOS. Now that's a much bigger ask than including the Game Pass subscription or like Game Pass Ultimate as part of Steam and getting access to some of those games, versus getting games to get the full app experience that you get on PC over on SteamOS. Now that is a much bigger ask, but that would also be a really nice possibility to get that full version, that full app working to where you could actually use cloud there. You could remote play your console. You could install games and play them locally right there on SteamOS. Again, stretching it a big ass, but that would be something I would really like to see officially come from Microsoft. And with Microsoft's anything is an Xbox, everything is an Xbox, and game everywhere kind of attitude these days, it would fit that line. I just don't know if it's too soon to expect something like that, or if Microsoft/Xbox will ever really incorporate the full app onto SteamOS, or at least just give us Game Pass through Steam so we have access to those games without buying them again if we have the subscription for PC. That would just be a nice perk. I would love to see that kind of an announcement and that kind of thing coming together with Microsoft, Valve, and Lenovo kind of announcing all this, bringing the first Windows device or Windows devices like the Legion Go, but with SteamOS, and then also having maybe that big announcement from Microsoft to kind of bring that along. But that, again, all of that is kind of a big ask, and it's just what I would actually like to see happen, but likely it's probably going to be something else. And that's something else, well, if it's neither of the couple of things I've talked about that I would love to see, it could just be as simple as bringing more trailers of everything as an Xbox and kind of branding with Lenovo, with Legion Go and Game Pass and the PC app, and really just kind of pushing their own thing. Nothing is to say that Microsoft and Valve and Lenovo are in any way hand in hand in anything here, or working together to make Game Pass stuff work on Steam right now, or Steam OS, or the app, or anything like that. So technically, this could be a separate thing with Valve and Lenovo, a separate thing with Microsoft and Lenovo that way. And Microsoft is there to represent the Windows devices, the Legion Go S Windows version and the Legion Go 2 Windows-based devices, and promote Game Pass and Xbox everywhere on those devices up on stage, just to kind of hype that up. And that's probably much more likely what we'll see is the gentleman, Jason Ronald, up on stage, the VP of Next Generation, kind of hyping up these next Legion Go Windows devices, their increased power, all that kind of stuff. We'll get a sizzle trailer or some kind of Xbox everywhere with Legion Go branding. And then that'll probably be what we see in the show. Ultimately, that's not all bad. I'd still like to see it. I definitely think 2025 is going to be a big year for gaming handhelds. We're finally going to be leaving generation 1 of all the devices, except maybe the Steam Deck if they hold till 2026. We'll have to see. But for the most part, like Lenovo, ASUS, MSI, and others are all probably going to be bringing what we would consider the second generation of these handheld devices. So I think 2025 will be pretty exciting, pretty fun either way, and any hype up or any support we can get from the bigger companies, Microsoft, Xbox, all the gaming, is great. But yeah, I would really love to see the stuff I talked about initially with SteamOS eventually getting the full-blown app maybe, and Steam getting at least the Game Pass subscription access so that we can get some of those games without having to grab those over there as well and have that version. But yeah, that's pretty much what I would like to see. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, what you think we'll see. Some of the stuff I talked about is probably way out there, at least for now, while some of it's definitely more grounded in what we might see at the event. But I'm sure there's other ideas and other things that could happen here as well. So let me know what you guys think. Anyway, as always, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.